descriptive type questions with their answers from the poems of Sarojini Naidu prescribed in your syllabus, Village Song, Indian Weavers and Wandering Singers. So first we will discuss about the Indian Weavers. How many lines are there in each stanza of the poem? There are 4 lines. What does the poem primarily focus on? It focuses on the journey of human life. The 3 stages of life depicted in this poem are infancy, adulthood and old age. The poem conveys a sense of scenic nature of life. The poem uses the metaphor of weaving to describe the passage of time and life's journey. Now the symbolism and colors and objects described in this poem. The blue as the wing of a halcyon wild. It represents the newborn innocence. The marriage veils of a queen. Veil means ghungat. The marriage veils of a queen suggest love and prosperity. The white as feather and white as cloud. It symbolizes death and sorrow. What is the significance of the halcyon wild in the poem? It symbolizes childhood's innocence. The phrase we weave is repeated to emphasize the continuity of life. Some questions about the literary devices and poetic techniques used in this poem are: what poetic device is used in white as feather and white as cloud? It's simile. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? AABB. The phrase gay garments in the second stanza refers to a queen's wedding dress. What mood does the poem create overall? Solemn and reflective. The weavers in the poem symbolizes the journey of life. Now some contextual questions in this poem. What message does Sarojini convey through the Indian weavers? The fleeting nature of life. How does the poet describe old age in the last stanza? She describes it as a sorrowful and final farewell. Why is the weaver's work compared to the journey of life? Because they create fabrics for different life events. What weavers मतलब जो कपड़े बुनते हैं उनको कहते हैं weavers. What aspect of Indian culture does the poem reflect? The significance of handloom traditions. Which literary movement does Sarojini Naidu's poetry belong to? It belongs to Romanticism. Now some miscellaneous questions from the same poem. The use of nature-related imagery in the poem signifies the connection between human and nature. The poem is set in which part of the day in the last stanza? It's midnight. लास्ट स्टेंजा में मिडनाइट का जो है एटमॉस्फेयर क्रिएट किया गया है इस पोएम में. What kind of poem is Indian Weavers? It is a lyric. What do the garments woven by the weavers represent? Represent the major events in a person's life. The final stanza of the poem conveys a feeling of sorrow. Now some questions about general standing from the same poem. What is the central theme of the poem in Indian Weavers? It is a life's journey. How many stanzas are there in the poem? There are 3 stanzas. What do the weavers symbolize in the poem? The different stages of life. Which color is associated with birth? It's blue. What time of the day is mentioned in the first stanza? It's morning. Now symbolism and imagery. The blue as wing of halcyon wild represents childhood. What color symbolizes youth in this poem? It's purple and green. The marriage veils of a queen suggest a grand occasion. Which time of day is associated with youth in the poem? Afternoon. The white shroud represents death. Literary devices used in this poem. The poem follows which poetic form? The lyric form. What literary device is used in as blue as wing of a halcyon wild? It's simile. The repetition of the phrase we weave emphasizes the Cycle of life. The poem is written in which tense? It is written in present tense. The tone of the last stanza is mournful, dukh se bhari hui. Now some poet's perspective. Who is the speaker in this poem? The weavers are speakers. Which aspect of life does Sarojini Naidu portray in the poem? Its human life cycle. The poem Indian Weavers is inspired by Indian culture and traditions. Sarojini Naidu is also known as the Nightingale of India. The poem conveys a sense of life's transience. The poem uses the metaphor of weaving to depict the different stages of life. 3 stages of life represented in the poem are birth, youth, and old age. The phrase "Why do you weave a garment so gay" is used in reference to a queen's wedding dress. The color white in the poem symbolizes mourning. The poem ends with an image of death. Now next poem about the village song. Some multiple choice question with answers from the poem Village Song. Who is the speaker in the poem Village Song? It is a village girl. What is the central theme of village song? Is conflict between duty and desire. What is the girl carrying in the poem? She is carrying a pot of water. What time of day is it in the poem? It's evening. Where is the girl going in the poem? To fetch water from the river. What makes the girl fearful in the poem? All of the above. She is very fearful. What does the girl hear in the dark? She hears the whisper of the ghosts. What is the girl's emotional state in the poem? She is anxious and scared. What does the girl long for? A carefree life in nature. What natural element plays a key role in the poem? The river. What kind of imagery is used in the poem? It's mystical and natural. What literary device is used in the darkness of the night? It's metaphor. What does the river symbolize in the poem? Life and purification. How does the poem reflect Indian rural life? All of the above, by showing the beauty of villages, by portraying the simple life of villagers, and by highlighting fears and traditions. What does the phrase "forest's haunted gloom" signify? The presence of supernatural elements. What kind of poem is Village Song? It is a lyrical poem. How does the poem reflect Sarojini Naidu's poetic style? Vivid imagery and lyrical expression. What emotion dominates the poem? Fear. Which literary movement does Sarojini Naidu belong to? She belongs to Romanticism. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? A, B, B. How does the poem end? The girl is still trapped in fear. What role does nature play in the poem? It reflects the girl's fear and emotions. What is the mood of the poem? Mysterious and melancholic. What poetic device is used in Whispering Wind? It's alliteration. What is the message of the village song? A girl's life is filled with responsibilities and fears. Now some multiple choice questions from the poem Wandering Singers by Sarojini Naidu, the third poem. Who is the speaker in the poem? A singer. What is the main theme of Wandering Singers? The nomadic life and detachment from worldly ties. What instrument do the wandering singers play? Lutes. What kind of life do the wandering singers lead? Nomadic and free. Nomadic means जो जंगल में रहते हैं उनको कहते हैं nomadic life. The phrase "wind call to us" symbolize the call of destiny and movement. The poem emphasizes the idea of detachment by showing that singers have no home or possessions. What does the voice of the wind represent? It represents the call to adventure and change. The wandering singers spread stories of all of the above. They spread the stories of god and goddesses, battles and kings, beauty and love. What is the mood of the poem? It's melancholic yet accepting. The wandering singers belong to which tradition? It belongs to nomadic minstrels. What does the phrase "wherever the voice of the wind calls"? It suggests the freedom and acceptance of fate. The poem portrays a contrast between freedom and attachment. What does the line "No love birds us tarry, no joy bids us wait"? They are free from emotional attachments. This means they are free from emotional attachments. The wandering singers do not seek fame and fortune. What literary device is used in The Voice of the Wind calls? It means the first literary devices personification is used in this line. What does the phrase "the roads are calling" symbolizes? The call to embrace life's journey. How does the poem reflect Indian culture? By portraying the rich heritage of oral storytelling. Why do the wandering singers not have a fixed home? Because they believe in a life of freedom and detachment. The poem Wandering Singers is written in simple and lyrical form. What kind of emotion does the poem evoke? Nostalgia and longing. What message does the poem convey about material wealth? It is a burden that limits freedom. Which poetic technique is most evident in Wandering Singers? Alliteration. The poem describes a world that is always changing. The wandering singers considered themselves as messengers of stories and history. What is the central idea of the poem? The acceptance of fate and a wandering life. Now some more questions from the same poem, Wandering Singers. What does the poem Wandering Singers mainly emphasize? The purpose and destiny of wandering singers. Which literary device is present in The Voice of the Wind calls? Its personification. How does the poem describe the wandering singer's journey? As a destined path. What emotion does the poem evoke in the reader? Nostalgia and melancholy. The line "the wind called to us," it suggests the unpredictability of life. What is the tone of the poem? Detached and accepting. How does the poem depict attachment to material things as an unnecessary burden? Material things are unnecessary burden to us. The poem suggests that the wandering singers do not have a fixed home. The phrase "no love birds us tarry," they are free from attachments. What does the poem suggest about change? The poem suggests that change is an essential part of life. The wandering singers spread what? The stories of the past. The lines of the poem flow in a manner that suggests a sense of restlessness. What is the meaning of the word tarry in the poem? Tarry means to hesitate or delay. The poem suggests that the wandering singers do not care about wealth or possessions. What kind of songs do the wandering singers sing? They sing the songs of love and sorrow. What is the significance of wind in the poem? It symbolizes the movement and destiny. What message does the poem convey about life? Life should be led with complete freedom. The wandering singers travel because they follow their destiny. What does the line "wherever the voice of the wind calls" suggest? A commitment to movement. The poem's structure is best described as a free-flowing rhythm. The poem can be interpreted as a reflection on the idea of spiritual detachment. What do the wandering singer cherish the most? Their songs and stories. The phrase "no joy bids us wait" suggests that they do not seek material pleasure. The poem Wandering Singer is an example of lyrical poetry. And what is the ultimate fate of wandering singers? It is to continue wandering forever. So be prepared for your exam and keep watching.